Yes.
All right, so let's get going in. Oh wait, what's the name of? I have to remember the. I can't remember the website's URL.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Every time.
Yo, this motherfucker has never remembered it in the whole time we've been doing this shit.
All right, wait, this is the energy we need. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Final Fantasy Wiki podcast. The URL is finalfantasy.fandom.com, and I got it right this time.
Yes, you got it right.
I got it right this time. I'm your host, BlueHighwind. Welcome to the month of October 2021. And joining me are Technobliterator, SomeColorMage, and our special guest that Technobliterator is going to introduce because he's our guest master.
I guess I'm the guest master, but also I'm the only one who can pronounce her name. Sreliata, hello.
Oh, hi. Yes, guest master. Take good care of me. Oh my god, that sounded wrong.
Great. Okay, so would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Right now, I'm just trying not to laugh, but yeah. I guess I'm mostly known for making fan art for Final Fantasy VII Remake in the community, I would say. But I do everything, not only that. So basically all 3D related fan works. Yes.
Yeah, so she did the 3D fan art for a lot of different characters from 7 Remake that use the models ripped from the game. And more to the point, she did basically every single render of every character from 7 Remake. So any article that was written by me from 7 Remake, if you see it wasn't from Square Enix, it was from her.
Okay, so she's the one that pulled the images off of the game and got it on the wiki.
Not exactly. I mean,
Wow.
I pulled the models off of the game, and I then assigned materials and lighting, which takes around 5 hours per image.
Oh.
And then I rendered it with, that's what I did. And also a cool thing, guys, I saw Polygon use those renders yesterday that I made. It was really nice.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so Polygon, the website, used the renders for, I don't remember what the article was, and IGN's used it before.
Mm-hmm. For the dresses mostly, for the dress mechanics and everything.
So
Yeah, so the other thing is, it was like a whole process for her to basically pose all of the models in the way that they would either be posed in the Ultimania or the way that they would be posed, like, for instance, we have renders of the characters like in their battle stances, and we pose the models to look like the exact same models from the original Final Fantasy VII. So you can compare side by side, like what they looked like in the PS1 game versus what they look like now.
Mm-hmm. And extra for the wiki, because Joe was very particular on how these models should stand to, mimic the old original model stances. And because of that, I actually taught myself how to extract the in-game animations from the battles only, so I could actually take most of that and translate it over into images.
okay, so
And
exactly
can't argue with the results.
yeah. So what exactly are you extracting from the game? Is it some kind of file, or are you like simulating it through your own fan art?
No, so you know how the game is made in Unreal Engine, and so I basically extract the meshes. So the 3D objects that you see in the game, I can extract them and then bring them into a free software Blender. I'm not sure you heard about it, and I can work in there with those assets, with all of the assets, like everything, models, stages, objects, anything.
So are you using the original PlayStation version, or are you somehow or another getting it to run on a PC?
It's the PlayStation version that has been sort of converted to be extracted on PC.
Okay.
Yeah, but only the PS4 version. They
Yes,
haven't they haven't gotten the PS5 version to work yet.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, it's a brand new console, I
Sadly.
can understand.
Mm-hmm. And I still hope that it comes to PC though, the game, so then that will make things easier.
It would. Well, that's
Yeah,
very impressive.
But
Yeah, I think
sources say that it might come, that I'm sure you guys saw that there was these leaks from Epic Game Store, and that in there was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was stated for the end of the year. So
yeah,
who
I think
knows?
we talked about that last podcast, or maybe the one before that.
I think that was
I
the
don't
last
remember,
podcast.
but
That
we
was the
talked
big
about
leak of a whole bunch of weird games like Kingdom Hearts 4 and
it.
stuff.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
been a couple of those, and I think that last one was the Nvidia thing.
Oh yes, it
The
was
7 remake.
It was distinct
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the 7 remake one was just as an entry was found for it on
Yeah.
Epic's system, and then after people started noticing it, Square Enix changed the names on most of it to try and hide it. But yeah, I assume that the release of Integrate pushed back their time on when they go multi-platform with it. But yeah, it seems an inevitability.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
the big leak. Don't we know it?
is there anything else that you want to say about, the process of, ripping, like,
It's actually quite complicated, the whole process. And to be honest, it's probably a bit too much to explain in a podcast, because up to date, I know that I'm probably one of the very few people that actually managed to extract everything. But I don't know if explaining it makes a lot of sense, because a lot of it probably doesn't make sense unless you're doing it daily. All I can say is that it took me a lot to learn. I took a lot of hours to try and figure it out, and I made a lot of notes where I wrote what I did, and then the next day I already forgot everything. I had to read it again. But by now, it's second nature.
I don't think you need to be worried about going too technical. I mean, we are a wiki, so boring minutia is what we do. I've spent hours writing tables doing nothing.
I mean, you probably know that I'm not the person that creates the, how do I say it, the decryption for it. So and I'm not gonna name names here, but I am not the person that does it. I am, however, using a tool that can translate the Unreal assets into actually readable, 3D objects, and these are then extracted, including the textures and everything. And with those, I just go into Blender, and from there, everything takes its, its course, I would say. So basically, you just load it. You know how when you load a 3D object, everything is just white. There's no texture. There's nothing. You just see the 3D-ness of it, and that's how everything starts. And from there, I end up creating the images that I do and all of that I do in Blender.
So what you get initially is the wireframe.
Technically, yeah. I'm just mostly viewing it in solid, but you could view it as wireframe as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really know very, very little about 3D anything. I just know there's a lot of triangles.
There is, yes. I hate triangles.
You hate triangles? Would you rather we be using the Sega Saturn system and everything be made out of squares?
Of course not. But can't we just make it all in quads? Why does it have to be triangles? I know it's because it's easy on the polygons, but still, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to move on to news?
Right. I didn't know what stories you wanted to start with when we were recording this. Just after the latest state of play, in which there was no news.
There was no news
There
in
was
that state of play.
no news.
There was absolutely nothing.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely nothing.
the first news is
There was-
Final Fantasy XVI completely MIA.
Yep.
Put on your clown makeup.
I'm not really surprised about this kind of stuff, because this is Naoki Yoshida's department working on this, and you get a lot of sense from how he does announcements and reveals and stuff, that he doesn't like to do just one-off trailers and such like that. Like I do most of the Final Fantasy XIV stuff on the Twitter account and stuff, and every time there's stuff to reveal there's always like a week advance warning or more, and when the reveal happens, he goes as far in depth as he can to everything he's got as possible. So yeah, I don't think just monitoring for third-party trailer reels, it's going to it's not going to show up there.
Because so I remember when, because I'm from the 7 Remake side of the fandom, and I remember when that game got revealed at E3. Like, I remember, like, before it got revealed even, like, there were, like, rumors, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake is gonna be at E3, and I was like, that's not gonna happen. We were all like, nah, that's the stupidest idea. Like, that ain't happening. Yeah. And then it happened, and then there was, like, we had this massive blow up in our chat, like, holy shit, they actually announced it, right? And then, like, later in the year, they had that long trailer that showed off Mako Reactor 1, and everyone was like, yo, man, it looks like they're further along than we thought. Like, all right, maybe we're going to get more news about it. Every single E3, every single, like, game show, every single event for 5 years. No, not for 5 years. For 4 years, there was nothing. So I am not used to, like, expecting anything from Square Enix at this point. Like,
Well, Techno, let me tell you...
they just kind of hit you out of nowhere.
Let me tell you about waiting for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I can tell you about a little thing called the PlayStation 3, when they originally showed that off, when we got the Final Fantasy VII tech demo, and everyone's like, yeah, here we go! It's going to be next E3, Final Fantasy VII in full high definition, and then yeah, that just didn't happen, and then years and years passed.
We've both been here since before the big Fabula Nova Crystallis event. So we are still waiting for Final Fantasy Versus 13, also known as the early days of development of Final Fantasy 15, also probably known as Kingdom Hearts 4 at this point.
I'm still waiting for a Jito 13. Why not? So
this company, man.
Let me ask you, should people actually be worried about Final Fantasy XVI? Is it time to not panic, but maybe just raise the worry meter up from maybe, let's say, a 4 to like a 5 out of 10?
Depends. What do you think would happen if it's raised? Why would you worry? Do you mean because we didn't hear anything? Do you think that maybe they're not continuing, or what are we worried about?
I don't know. Just like, do you think it comes out next year? I guess is my thought at this point.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't think it's next year.
Oh,
I think next year we might get more trailers and so on, but I don't think it releases next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Jason Schreier sold me a bill of goods when he said, ooh, this thing's going to be out 2021. I'm like, oh, well.
Did he actually think that?
He actually did think that, yeah. He said that on a podcast. And, this was him speculating. But I assume he knows slightly more. You know what? I just got to beat him in fantasy. I'm in a fantasy league with him, so I'll go and take care of that. That's how I'll take out my aggression there.
But, at least we get First Soldier next month. That's something already.
Oh, that is a release date?
Mm-hmm. November.
Oh, darn. I should have known that.
So I think there's been one beta for it so far. And yeah, so there's been the beta release, and we're getting the full release next month. And I've heard some pretty decent things about it so far. I mean, obviously, we had a guest on who had played it and said it was like, it was kind of, from what he described, it was like, oh, it's as good as you can imagine a Final Fantasy Battle Royale shooter being, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, it doesn't seem like the kind of thing you would cross over at all. But, apparently, they make it work considering what it is. So, it's something I'll probably give it a try. I don't know if I'll play it regularly, but, I'll look into it.
It doesn't look like it has a solid release date. It just says November 2021. I'm trying to find if there's an exact date. So it could be like 5 days from now, or it could be a month from now.
Could be. I mean, what I'm most excited about it, because it's still just a battle royale. It's not like you're gonna go through a huge story or something. But I am excited about the costumes they bring, because even in the beta they already had multiple costumes. I think every day the roster was updated and there was another costume that you could buy, technically. So
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to what else they might bring in, because I'm pretty sure they will bring a lot of other Final Fantasy, parts into this game as a costume.
I will give it a shot. I will go in with an open mind and I will try the game as best as I can. I can't promise I'll love it, but I guess the other biggest news in terms of Final Fantasy demos and things in beta form is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. We got a new trailer for that and a new demo. Did anyone play that?
Yeah, I played through the demo. So first things first, they do seem to have actually fixed the difficulty curve issue, because like in that first demo, Garland was...
He was hard.
Okay, well, not Garland. Chaos question mark was kind of terrible and way too hard compared to the rest of the content, and they fixed that up. Also, the other area that they introduced, also just generally a lot brighter and more colorful, so they do seem to be listening to the big complaints that were happening in those regards.
Well, I don't think they would have designed a whole new area in 3 months. It just means there's more to the game than it looked like. It's just not all dark castles. That's a Final Fantasy XIII area, right?
Well, it's named differently, but yeah, it's very much a dead ringer for the Sunlit Waterscape, and the music in the area even takes cues from 13's soundtrack. So yeah, they're being very
so that's what that reminded me of. Oh, I got it. Okay, I knew it reminded me of something.
Like it's like that level even has the like stage gimmick from that chapter in 13 where you could change the weather and it would change the area and the monsters and such. That is like the gimmick of that area in the demo as well.
Does the demo have a new boss?
Yeah, it was some like water and fire elemental thing. Like they both came out of an orb, and then when you beat them up, they retract into the orb, and you have to beat up the orb to win. And it's, I mean, I didn't play on like a high difficulty because I remembered my experience from the first demo and preemptively just set it down to the lowest difficulty.
That's what I would do. I couldn't beat Garland, so to my eternal shame.
Correction, you couldn't beat Chaos question mark.
I'm gonna call him.
I think that demo renamed it to Chaos Advent, and like it's kind of funny that they seem to try and tone down all the chaos stuff, and then they brought us the bullshit scene.
Well, all right. So it turned out Garland was a little girl in the costume.
Yeah, and it's talking about how she doesn't think chaos is real, and someone has to pretend to be chaos. You know, blah blah blah. I wasn't paying much attention to myself either. And then there's just like this 5-second pause. Camera's just concentrating on Jack Garland. Jack Garland. Yeah, and then he just says bullshit and pulls out his phone.
Yep.
That's playing some really shitty rock music.
Well, it's playing. Everyone called it Limp Bizkit, but I don't think it actually was Limp Bizkit, right?
It does sound a lot like it, but it's just a convincing sound alike. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think they'd bring back Limp Bizkit, considering that band's been defunct for a long ass time.
Well, they got Limp Bizkit for the Fight Club video game. Oh no, it's Fred Durst. Fred Durst is in it.
The thing with that is just like, you know, why are they giving us this nostalgia for like early 2000s emo?
New metal.
And then
emo was a bit later.
Yeah, new metal, that's the one.
Because techno, that was 20 years ago, and at this point, that stuff people are nostalgic for.
Yeah, that's the
I
Noceta
swear to
cycle.
God, like I swear to God, like the whole game is like a throwback to the Shadow the Hedgehog era of gaming, and now they have Limp Bizkit music. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Just rolling, just rolling.
Yeah, and like people can't tell how serious they're being about this, but at the same time, that demo like had this side quest that was a boss rush, and we appear to have lost Sreliata.
Great. Let me put a time stamp on this. Might have to edit around this.
Right. I mean, I might as well just continue my point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just messaged me saying that her internet is. But yeah, you can carry on. And
Yeah.
then-
Yeah, there was
we'll bring up-
this one side quest in demo, which was basically just a gauntlet, sort of like boss rush thing. It's the hardest thing in the demo, and the reward for it is a fedora. So, yeah,
You got a fedora?
Yes, it was a fedora.
Right.
Okay, that's
So
not.
either they are leaning into how dumb this is, or they are so self-aware that it's going to be the funniest thing ever anyway.
All right, that's
just like
not
they
Fred
either have-
Durst level douchebag. That's like 2009 level douchebag of tip fedora nice guy kind of deal. All right,
You
Like
know what?
they
You
either
know what?
have all the self-awareness or none of it, and either way, that's a good time.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a film that released this month called Venom 2.
oh,
right?
I like that movie.
Where the first one was like, you know, really funny, but kind of unintentionally funny. And then the second one, they just said, all right, well, people enjoyed it because it was ironically funny. So let's just lean in on this being and make this hilarious as hell, right? So, I mean, this might be that point where they're like, okay, well, are we doing this as a joke, or are we doing this because we want people to take this story really, really seriously?
But they've already changed the marketing a bit in response to the reveal, because you know, a lot of you know, the Western audience were joking that this Jack guy, he's definitely going to become chaos, and Nomura's
then he
basically
definitely
looking at his
is.
notes. Yeah, that's actually what it was going to be. So the second trailer ended with that Jack Garland reveal to just hit,
My name's
Yeah, to
Garland.
try and
Jack Garland.
yeah, because they figured, well, everyone's already figured it out. We might as well pivot to trying to make the mystery how he becomes chaos instead of what happens to him.
Right.
So what do you
Yeah,
think is
I
the over-under on this game having an ooh-wah?
Oh.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
I really want it to happen. Ooh-wah! I was recently watching a movie called Queen of the Damned, and it's got a ton of early 2000s new metal. It's kind of wonderfully tasteless, so I kind of hope this is like this.
I am putting my bet on that shitty song that Jack plays on his phone. That's going to be the final boss thing. I am calling that right now.
Oh, imagine. This could be glorious. This could be gloriously tasteless.
Yeah, this game could be hilarious and ironically funny, or it could be stupid as hell. And I'm hoping it will be the first one.
This has a release date, doesn't it? March 18th. Here it
Yeah,
is. March 18th,
Right, yeah.
2022 for PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One Series, and PC.
So the only reason why I think that's relevant is because like that gives me the sense that if 16 is coming, it's not coming until later in the year.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And I would say the same about 7 Remake.
7 Remake,
I don't think
that's
I don't
happening until
think we get
2023.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think we're getting 7 Remake anything else until 2023 at the earliest.
I do think that 2022 is likely for 16, just because because this is Creative Business Unit 3. They are also the Final Fantasy 14 department, and 14 releases a major update every 2 years without fail. So like next month is Endwalker, and 2023 is going to be 7.0. It's going to be the start of the new story arc that Yoshida's been talking about.
Oh no, we've
So
lost.
I think,
I'm sorry, SomeColorMage. We've lost our guest. I just got the message from her.
that.
Well, we'll have to have her
I mean,
on
do you want
another
to-
time, I guess. Ugh. Well.
Yeah, let's just. I mean, we've already recorded enough that I don't want to try and do this again. So let's just
No.
keep
We gotta keep rolling.
Yeah,
We have
keep
the
going.
worst
Yeah, keep going.
we have the worst luck with
Yeah,
guests.
I know.
We've had 2 on, and both times their internet crashed on us.
Yep. So I think like keep going, and then if she comes back before the end, then we can
Yeah.
have her in before the end. Otherwise,
So-
You know, we
But
got like 10 minutes of really good conversation with her at the beginning anyway, so it's not a total loss.
Yeah.
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 Oh, so
So
back to-
anyway, what my point was is that I think 16 is probably 2022, just to avoid Yoshida's department from competing with itself, basically.
Yep. Yeah. I think yeah, I would I think I can follow that logic. Like the only thing I think that might be delayed, like I don't know, because I don't think Japan has I don't think anyone in Japan has gone back to the offices yet, so I don't know if they're still dealing with like pandemic delays.
I know it's
I
worse
mean-
this year than it was last year in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, since like 14 is the topic, 14 is as of now about 4 months behind what the original schedule was, and about half of that is because of COVID and the adaptation to work from home. The other half is just because they're trying to put everything they can into Endwalker, because that is the end of the original story, and the second big story arc of 14 starts in patch 6.1, so they want to get as much done in 6.0 as they can. But yeah, I think Square Enix has at this point fully adapted to work from home, or as much as they can.
Right.
I mean, they have their
So
games
I
coming
don't-
out on a regular pipeline at this point. They just released the well, this is the Western studio anyway, but they just released the Guardians of the Galaxy game this very week.
Right, which is from what I'm seeing of it, better than people thought it would be. You know, like I was always somewhat optimistic about that, just because I like Guardians, but like also because I didn't think they were gonna repeat what happened with the Avengers game, and by all accounts, from what I'm seeing, they didn't repeat that mistake. So
It's a
It's-
first-person
well,
game like they're supposed to make.
yeah,
Yeah, we're
it's,
making it a single player,
That's what I mean,
non
sorry.
games as a service garbage.
Yeah.
Just de facto makes it better than the Avengers game by default.
It's-
'Cause-
And what's interesting about it as well is it's by the studio that made the Deus Ex games, so it has a lot of the dialogue choices and like the way you interact with your team like can like affect missions and stuff, and like there's lots of like talking and whatever. So like it looks pretty damn good. I'm excited to start playing it soon.
Well, for one, Square Enix is not forcing a studio so far out of their wheelbox. Like, Crystal Dynamics are the ones that did the Tomb Raider games. So they would actually
Yeah.
have worked better on this game if they had put them there. Because they're good at these kind
Right.
of, linear narrative kind of adventure things. Eidos Montreal, as you said, they did the Deus Ex games. So this is a little bit out of their wheelhouse, but a third-person action game, that's kind of standardized enough through the industry that I think just about anybody could do it.
Yeah, and also the fact that it looks like there's some things from their RPG games that they could carry over to this feasibly. Like,
Yeah, I hear it has a
it's
a
not-
Final Fantasy XIII stagger system is what it's got.
Yeah, and it has, what's it called? Fuck. I'm trying to remember.
I haven't played the game, so I don't know. I've been very busy this month.
I mean,
I've
I've
not
already-
played many video games at all.
I've only seen footage of it and what's it called, but yeah, I mean it looks good. It looks and it's definitely been received much better than you know than
Yeah.
Avengers was. Avengers was just
Oh, that
it
game
was
was
a
bad.
bit of a mess.
That was not a
It
good
was
game at all.
bad. It was a game that had a severe identity crisis, and the result was you have, four playable characters, none of
No,
which
you
feel any
have
different.
they all felt different. I can tell you, Iron Man felt like dog shit. That was not fun
Ah,
at all.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
They didn't. It's not that they didn't feel different. It's just that they all don't feel that powerful.
The flying ones felt
Avengers
really bad.
was- Oh yeah, the flying ones felt terrible.
Yeah.
Avengers was a really weird experience because it was revealed it looked like shit.
Yeah.
A lot of the initial exposure looked fucking terrible, but then people were able to touch the game, and while it wasn't the best thing ever, it did seem like it was getting a little better and better. And then the full game comes out, and it turns out it's because they backloaded how fucking terrible the game was.
Yeah.
I managed to hold that off until like the second last quest in the game, in the main story, and just from there it's endless shit.
And the game completely fell apart on me the last level too. Like just towards the end, like the game had been shaky the whole time in terms of glitches. But then, like, at the very last level, all of a sudden, Captain America kept falling through floors, and dialogue wouldn't load in the last cutscene, and it felt like a car whose transmission had just blown up, and you're trying to drive it up a hill.
Oh god, yeah. The end game of that was so fucking unfinished that the subtitles and the audio were running on different scripts in some cutscenes.
Yes, that was
they
wild.
did not match at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Here's the
That's
thing.
amazing.
It felt like what this Guardians of the Galaxy game is, except somebody had come in like halfway through and is like, yeah, that's okay. But what if it was also a multiplayer game? And then everyone is like, they're nodding, like, yeah, boss, that's a great idea. Then when the boss leaves, they're all like, how the fuck are we gonna do that? Do you have any idea what he's talking about? How do we do that? We got like 6 weeks to make this game. And that was the spooky story of Halloween.
Like, the story itself was apparently pretty good.
It was okay.
Everything else. Okay.
I mean, it was
fine.
basically just a story about Miss what's her name, Miss Marvel,
Kamala
trying to
Khan.
bring back, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan,
Kamala
trying
Harris.
to bring back all of the Avengers that she's a fangirl for when she was a child, after they completely collapsed as a result of the incident that for starters gave Kamala her powers, and that was for the most part a fun, cute little story. It's just that the ending couldn't deliver.
Yeah. Though it seems like Guardians of the Galaxy is doing pretty well, and I'm going to say that Square Enix's Western studios are overdue for a win. And you know what? Good for them. I hope it sells well.
Yeah, like when Square Enix first acquired Eidos, it seemed like it was almost a case of Eidos bailing them out, because this was during a time where Square Enix was failing to adapt to HD development. Like a lot of Japanese studios, they had a lot of troubles in the PS3 360 era just getting their shit together. And these days, it feels like it's on the bottom foot. Like Square Enix is putting out some of their best output in Japan, whereas the English-speaking branches just constantly step on brakes.
Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, at this point, what they've done is they've adapted to, just use Unreal Engine like everyone else, and then it seems like it's gone much smoother since then.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Square Enix, we should probably...
that can sum up all of Square Enix, both West and Japan studios. Like, you guys can't make your own engines, but when you use another one, you do alright.
Oh, I was going to do a transition to TGS. Sorry. We should probably
TGS.
Yeah, Tokyo Game Show. Everyone thought, yay, Final Fantasy XVI, but it did not. So I just wanted to go.
They outright said at the beginning of the show that no, we're not showing Final Fantasy XVI.
Yeah, but they also
people-
said that it's not going to be there, but it might be there. And if you say might, that means to me yes.
I mean the actual show. Like,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, the actual show
not the
itself.
stuff.
I didn't actually watch.
Like,
Sorry, hello.
like yeah, in the lead up to the TGS show, Yoshida was sometimes a bit evasive on whether or not they'll have something ready in time for TGS. But yeah, when they actually started the TGS show, it's like, we said before that Final Fantasy 16 probably isn't going to be here, and yeah, it's not going to be here.
Yeah, so let's see what was there. We got... Yoko Taro's got a new game, Voice of Cards, The Dragon Isle Roars. I think that was also announced at the Nintendo stream end of last month. There was a demo for this. Did anyone play that?
No.
I actually did. I did play it on the Switch.
Okay.
This was about a month ago, so I'll see how well I can remember it. This is a card-based game, but it's not a card game. So, like, right now, card deck battlers are very popular in the indie scene. And you think, oh, Square Enix is jumping on that. No, this is a traditional turn-based JRPG, just every character and every monster is a card. So it is like straight up Final Fantasy 1 ass, you go to a king, they give you a quest, you go to a cave and you beat a boss. That's the demo.
Is there like any sign of the kind of weird shit that people expect from Yoko Taro? Or...
Well, alright, I can... Your main characters are 3 people. One is an older dude, one is a lady with very big boobs, and one is a dude with very big boobs and no shirt. So he's just a big, muscly
it's definitely
guy.
a JRPG then.
Yeah. You're all, you're members of like a church, like warrior class.
Okay.
I can say the best thing about it is that there is an actual card game in this. If you go to the town, you can go and talk to some kid who challenges you to like cards. And then you play this sort of Go Fish / poker fusion game, which was actually very difficult and I thought was a ton of fun. And I'm like, this is what you should have built your battle system around. But instead, you go out and then you just have random encounters. And it is bog fucking standard in terms of JRPG stuff. So I don't recommend it. I'll see if maybe with the final release you can get some real Yoko Taro shit out of it. But I'm kind of on a Yoko Taro back foot this year because I also played the Nier Reincarnation game on the phones. And that game's not good. That game is just the same thing over and over again forever. It's super boring.
Man, a gacha game isn't
And
good.
pizza.
What else is...
I can't believe it, right? A gacha game is just a long curve upward on a logarithmic scale, demanding that I pay money to keep playing. Who would have thought? We also have Echoes of Mana coming out in spring 2022. Anyone care about that?
I don't even remember that one.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I was the same.
Oh, Hiroyuki Ito. Final Fantasy Wiki favorite. He's got a new video game coming out. Dungeons Encounters, which is... I don't even know what that is.
Is that the Hiroyuki Ito?
The Hiroyuki
Yes, it
Ito,
is.
not the Neo Twelly
Hiroyuki
Hiroyuki
Ito.
Ito. Yeah, Dungeons...
It is... The game is basically a very simple, old school dungeon crawler
Yeah.
game. I have played a bit of it. Like, it's kind of interesting, but yeah, you do definitely have to be interested. You
Oh,
do
it came
definitely
out.
have to like that style of game. Yeah, it's already out.
It came out on the 14th. There was a 20% discount that we've missed, unfortunately. It looked... I'm sorry, that just looked incredibly boring to me. No offense to Hiroyuki Ito, but, you know, he spent 10 years in secret working on this dream project that it turned out to just be this.
Yeah, it's okay. Not like great, but
Yeah.
not bad or anything. It's a perfectly serviceable game.
I was kidding before. I think he was, like, maybe, like, low-key retired, and this is just, like, him, you know, walking into the office one day, and is just fiddling around, and he makes a video game just, like, still show he can do it.
And I don't know, like it's
yeah.
mainly a battle system designer, so it's...
I think that's everything. We've already gone over Stranger Paradise. We talked about Chocobo GP last month. There's no new news on that.
I think there's a new like screenshot or something for it. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing major on it.
Yeah.
It's entered into Square Enix's usual press cycle where they'll tweet out a bunch of short gifs and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be a steady stream of, if not new content, at least clarifications of such. That's basically where it's at right now.
We also have today's news, right?
Yeah, I think it looks cute, but it's not like,
We have today's exciting news, though. The Sony State of Play press conference with the game that everyone's been waiting for. People have been on the edge of their seats. People just chanting out in the streets for the Square Enix franchise that's been abandoned for years and years. One of their seat franchises they're bringing back, and it's Star Ocean, and who cares? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I was saying before this call, I think every game since the second one has been just really divisive, and I don't know if anyone is still that interested in the series anymore. I mean, there was one post in the Discord channel of, new Star Ocean neat, but I don't know how excited people get for that anymore.
There's gotta be a Star Ocean hardcore fandom, right? There's gotta be.
There must be. I have never played a Star Ocean.
I played a demo for the second to last one. I think it was called Star Ocean Amnesis. And I can't tell you anything because I played the demo and I completely forgot it. It's just one of those JRPGs that I played the Tales of Arise demo earlier this month too, and I just in one ear out the other, just felt pretty cookie cutter. I'm sorry to say. Why am I so negative tonight? I'm sorry. It's just.
There was actually one bit of relevant news today because just before the State of Play, it was announced that Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster is in fact actually coming out.
Yay!
On the 10th.
Yay!
Woo!
That's a good game. Oh.
Yeah, that's the. I'm not being funny. Like that's the thing I'm most excited for of everything. Like this, of everything that's been discussed today, I guess. Cause I mean, Final Fantasy V needs more love, man. That game is I don't want to say it's underrated because it's not underrated. Everyone who plays it kind of says they love it, but it's definitely not many people have heard about it, and not many people have checked it out.
I think it's the most obscure of the main series. It's the one that people least discuss. That and 3, I feel like no one really has much to say. I really like Final Fantasy 3, and I have a soft spot for 5 too.
Yeah. I assume part of what caused a bit of the silence on this regard is that after 4's Pixel Remaster came out, there was actually quite a sizable wave of bug fix patches on all four of the released Pixel Remasters. So I guess they're just trying to make sure everything is still holding together before they put out the next one.
Yeah, so SomeColorMage, I think you have to play Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster because I'm probably not going to.
I'm going to play that one.
Oh, okay, good.
I suppose I will have to.
All right, we'll have things to talk about in November.
Yeah, I am getting 5 Pixel Remaster and I am getting 6 Pixel Remaster as soon as they come out. Those two are my favorite of the pre-7 Final Fantasy games by far. And I would not miss those for anything. They're freaking good, man.
Yeah, those are very, very good video games. Final Fantasy VI especially.
Depending on
the thing with it getting announced as this is coming out in November is because they announced the first 3 Pixel Remasters and they came out all at once. And then they were kind of quiet about everything else, They were Final Fantasy IV is dropping, and then we didn't really hear much from it until later. And then obviously now it's been I think just over a month since then, since 4 dropped.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Sorry?
I mean, I should be able to check this if I just look at the... If
you're looking up the dates?
Because I've got the... Yeah, it's still on the fucking front page, September 8th. So yeah, it's been nearly 2 months since...
They can make it. They can make it to the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like just based on that timing, 6 might be an early January release. Who knows?
I believe they can do it. Just like World War I soldiers being told they'll be home by Christmas, will be in Narsh by Christmas. Let's say it.
I think that's fair. Yeah, and I am I'm still most looking forward to 6, but I'm looking forward to 5 a lot. And I know that a lot of people maybe that's the one that people would be possibly most disappointed about losing the GBA content for, because it was always pretty cool that you have this extra bonus dungeon to test your skills up against, because Final Fantasy V is a game where you want to test your skills with the mechanics. It's it's a game where that's what you want to have fun with. That's the so I think people may be disappointed about losing the GBA content for that, but frankly, I think there's enough in the base game, and the final dungeon is hard enough, and the 2 super bosses in the final dungeon are hard enough that it will be alright without them. It will be alright.
Yeah, Omega and Shinryu will be enough to get your money's worth in that game, even though you're not getting fighting.
Yeah, 5 has always been a solid game. Even the PlayStation version with the bad load times and very questionable translation is still a good game. So
the god awful pirate accent. What the fuck, man?
You don't like butts?
Fucking pirate accent. Well, it's not. I don't care about that. But the pirate accent they gave to Faris was so stupid. It was the stupidest thing. But,
I didn't play that version, so I don't know. I don't know any quotes. I can't even do a pirate accent for it.
I'm really interested to see what they do with the translation for 5, because I know that the GBA translations were mostly intact for the Pixel remasters so far.
Yeah.
But for 5, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is most likely going to be GBA script. We have been through this time and time again for 4. Every time when it hasn't been the 3D version, basically what they've just done for 4 is take the previous script and fix it up a little bit. So if you look deep enough into into Final Fantasy IV's translation, you can still see memes from a decade and a half ago, because that's when the PlayStation version was written, and they still haven't gotten rid of some of those lines. A lot of them have been changed to the point of being unrecognizable, but they're still there.
Oh, I found the Faris quote from Final Fantasy V in her pirate accent. Dar! Ye got courage trying to steal me ship out from under me own nose.
Yeah, meanwhile, the GBA version of 5 is pretty much a retranslation, because the previous English script of 5 was not usable.
Well, the GBA version has a lot of jokes too, because I remember every scene is about how everyone's talking that Bartz is a moron. Even the turtle guy talks about how stupid Bartz is.
The GBA script is pretty much parodic in nature, but it's an actually good script. So
yeah, Final Fantasy V is a funny ass game, and the game is a big joke. Gilgamesh is in it for one, and then you have frickin' Exdeath turns himself into a thorn and hides in I think it's Cryol's toe. It's haha, I have disguised myself as a thorn to arrive in your toe. And then fights the little turtle that it was some old sage master. It's what the fuck, man? Final Fantasy V is a funny ass game.
The turtle says, "What do you think? I've been eating pizza down here for 1,000 years or something?" You got Ninja Turtle references. Yeah, so Final Fantasy
Literally,
V.
Final Fantasy V does not take itself seriously at all, and that's great. Like,
That is the one game that just does not take nothing about itself seriously.
Yeah, so
You know,
that's out in
like,
2
so-
weeks. I think. Let me see. Do we have any other news? Oh, Final Fantasy XIV we have a new milestone for that game. It has surpassed 24 million players.
yeah, so I think it's the most subscribed MMO.
It's the
Question
most
mark?
profitable Final Fantasy game ever, is how they put it.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
managed to pass 11 in that regard, and also, while possibly not in net profit, it is pretty much guaranteed at this point that it has passed the numbers of World of Warcraft. So it is now the #1 MMO.
Okay, so that's 24
Which
million
is-
total subscribers at any point, not 24 million playing at any 1 second, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time, WoW has been on a pretty much constant decline since Mr. Pandaria, which was
Yeah,
about
World
a
of
decade ago at
Warcraft.
this point. So,
Ooh.
yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed at this point that 14 has passed it.
Yeah, Blizzard basically, Blizzard even cancelled next year's, they have this, event they have every year, and they cancelled
BlizzCon.
it. Because they're like, yeah, they cancelled BlizzCon because they're like, yo, there's a lawsuit going on, and there's, we don't have anything to show, so we're just gonna not have an event.
Yeah.
We could spend an entire podcast talking about Blizzard's constant shooting itself in the foot over the past 3 or 4 years.
It's
Yeah,
amazing,
rough.
man. I mean, it's amazing to me how many companies have fallen from grace to the level that they have. So, I remember when people used to, worship the ground that Valve walked. And now there's constant complaining about Valve everywhere, right? And don't even get me started on CD Projekt Red and how they managed to, in one game release, completely did a 180 on their whole reputation.
That's how easy you can fall. I mean, if Square Enix releases Final Fantasy XVI and it's bad, the tone of this
But I don't
podcast is going
feel
to
like-
change really fast.
Yeah, but I don't feel like Square Enix was ever at that level that some other developers were at.
10 years
mean,
ago, Square Enix
I-
was on the friggin' ropes in terms of their reputation.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like Square Enix has always been kind of troubled in a way, and it's never been. No one's ever looked at it as this company that can do no wrong. Whereas some others have been seen as these bastions of qualities that are perfection, and even Rock.
Even Rockstar Games, for instance, there was a time when everything they put out was getting 10s and everyone just loved their games. They caused controversy, but everyone loved them. And now the only time they ever get in the news is when they're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep milking GTA 5 for another 5 years, and we're not making a sequel to it. Bye."
Well, there's two things going on here. Number one is just game development has ballooned to such a ridiculous degree that it now takes any studio, no matter who they are, 5 years to make a video game. Often longer, especially, the big high-profile things like, Red Dead Redemption 2 was supposed to be the biggest video game of all time. Excuse me. Was the biggest video game of all time, and that takes a long, long time to make. And it's just, you can't be on that regular cycle of making a new video game every single year.
We'll see, and I can sympathize with that argument, except for the fact that GTA 5, they've put it on 3 consoles now, and they keep milking it for that stupid ass GTA Online.
Yeah, that's
get
what the goal is.
microtransactions
You
from.
want to make a game that'll
Yeah.
sell 100 million copies. That's what they wanted Cyberpunk
Right.
2077.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking them for it. I'm just saying it's funny to me how their reputation has gone from, these people can do no wrong to, oh my god, they keep, bleeding this cash cow.
I'd say the other thing is
Yeah.
you should never have a video game company as your hero. So there's
Yes.
no such
Yeah.
thing as a capitalist enterprise that can do no wrong. One day
Yes,
there might
this
be
is
stories
absolutely
coming out
true.
of a Square Enix studio about horrendous, abuse, maybe out of Nintendo that everyone loves. Like, this could happen. And we should be prepared for it, and we shouldn't have ourselves emotionally invested in the, fortunes of a company going up and down.
Yeah. Like, I will say that Square's general reputation is basically just having no idea what they're doing and it still works anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any other company in the industry would do something like a Realm Reborn, because it was a ridiculous Hail Mary that no C-suite in the industry would think is a good idea, because it's such a ridiculously high risk. But Square Enix's thought process was basically just version 1 of Final Fantasy XIV was so terrible, it's an existential threat to our main franchise. We have to do literally anything to get it working again. So they did. And
Which is
I
why
think
it's
even if
amazing.
they got into that situation again, they wouldn't do it. I think there's a one-off that nobody can replicate ever again.
SomeColorMage.
I think it's kind of
Sorry.
amazing that they went from that to now having their most profitable game in their history, because when you think about the fact that they must have poured so much money trying to fix that and make it what it is now, and they really turned it around. That's an impressive success story. That's something that's really commendable.
Yeah, SomeColorMage. So rewind back a bit. You said Hail Mary. Now, you're not American. Do you know what that expression means?
It's some kind of like last chance, just do whatever the fuck you need to kind of long shot thing.
Yes, it's an American football
No,
term.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's a Tupac song.
Okay, it could also be
I
that.
ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. Picture paragraphs unloaded. Why
cut
word
this.
being quoted? Oh, I'll carry on. Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's a
cut
Tupac song.
Yeah, so at the end of a football game, if you're down like 7 points and you got nothing left, the quarterback just throws it as far as he possibly can and hopes that somebody catches it, and that's a Hail Mary. And I'm impressed to see
Yeah, I
those
think I got the
phrases
analogy right.
spread across the globe. American football ruling the waves.
I'm Australian. We end up picking up a lot of every other English variant.
Yeah. We should go on to our last bit of news, right? The final news.
The final news.
The final news. The most important and most joyous news of the month. And that is in a little game called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where a little video game has joined the roster. And that video game is Kingdom Hearts, because Sora's here! Everybody's here! Sora's here! Finally! We could all be rejoice and be glorious, because all is complete.
And it's
Sora's
amazing
here.
because for so long people said, "Oh, that's never gonna happen. Disney's never ever gonna agree to that." And he ended up as the last character in it.
Yeah, Sora's actually here right now. Do you have any questions for him? I got him for the podcast. He's our other surprise guest.
Do you have any questions for him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there he is. That's him
What's up,
sleeping.
dude? Okay, my question to you is why did you break Ariel's heart?
Okay.
So I've downloaded the Smash Brothers DLC, and he comes with his sound cards. You can just hit.
Should have let us ask more questions before you revealed that.
We could keep asking him questions. He's here.
Okay.
Sora, what would you recommend that Joe Biden do to go and break the deadlock in the Senate? That's how I feel too, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right. All right, so we're gonna put Sora away. I've downloaded his DLC because I had to. I haven't played Smash in well over a year.
So
But
technically, you can now relive the fight between Cloud, Sephiroth, and Sora.
you
from
can, yeah,
Kingdom Hearts
anytime.
2. So, so in Kingdom Hearts 2, when they just randomly fucked off, and then there was no conclusion to that, they just went to Smash Brothers.
Yeah. There's
It's
actually
now canon.
there's actually like a whole spirit system where you can go in the DLC. You'll fight various characters that like represent the figures. So in Sora's, you have Chrom from Fire Emblem. He represents Terra, so you can go and fight him. So I've been fighting those. Those are pretty good. I did Sora's his main campaign, like the classic Smash. You know, he's a good character. He's pretty floaty. He's his side B.
Which is,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be Sora if he wasn't floaty.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. It's classic. It has to be for Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts defines floaty gameplay, so he's a floaty character. His side B is like it's just an automatic 3-hit combo. Like you can just hold the button down and then he just hits somebody 3 times. He's got Faraga and Thundaga, and I wish it was just Thundaga because that's the best one of them. I think he's a bit OP, but I'm never going to play a human, so I don't know. And that's just kind of it.
And they said that, yeah, like I think they said that his main weakness is that he's the lightest character in the game. Like he's so floaty that you can just smack him up and he'll just go right into the KO.
Yeah, he's like a Kirby, actually, surprisingly.
So he's like a glass cannon.
But of course, one of Sora's big features relies on you being in stamina mode, where being knocked back far doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like one of the things is that when Sora wins a stamina battle, the final hit just like goes into slow motion to imitate how boss
Yes, it
fights
does do that.
art series.
It also has Kirby can eat Sora and grow his hair as a hat. So then Kirby can go and do thunder, fire, freeze. It's very very cute. It's like a little baby Sora.
So here's the thing I find weird. When Sora was revealed, like before that happened, Master Chief was trending. Because people thought Master Chief was more likely to be in this game than Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon. Like, what the fuck are people on about, man?
Hey, what the fuck would you do with Master Chief anyway? Samus Aran's already got an Echo Fighter.
Well, all right. Well, they did include Doom Guy as a Mii fighter. So him and the Animal Crossing girl, they can finally get married.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't know why people thought that was a realistic possibility. Like I mean, I personally kind of wish Crash Bandicoot had ended up in Smash, but between Crash and Sora, I would take Sora. I just think that's a much more logical choice. But you know, so you guys got your Sora, and Disney allowed it to happen.
They didn't allow Goofy and Donald in, though.
Like it was inevitable that this was going to be the last one where it's on the cards, because they've actually said that Fighter Pass 2 was originally just going to be 5 characters, but just before they were getting ready to reveal that stuff, they finally managed to get the rights sorted out with Disney. So they just said, well, one last DLC character, it's going to be Sora. So Fighter Pass 2 goes 6-person.
You got to end on the top, right? You can't do better than Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
It's the best series there ever is.
Yeah,
Wow.
I assumed they would have changed the order a bit as well if Sora wasn't in, because I mean, what the last DLC character before him was that Tekken guy, which isn't exactly one to end on.
I mean, there are people who really, really love Tekken. Probably more than love Star Ocean. I've recently discovered a random side thing is Master Chief is, of course, in love with the Animal Crossing girl, and Sephiroth has become best friends with Pichu.
Okay.
Yep. That's it.
One thing I really liked is Sakurai's Twitter account. He basically just posted, well, now that we're done with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I can post whatever I want because people won't start thinking that this is, a hint at the next DLC character, and he got a picture of his cat looking at one of the Among Us characters.
Yeah. You know the weird thing about Kingdom Hearts is where Kingdom Hearts 3 and the rhythm game ended, this could potentially be canon. Because Sora right now is floating around in the world of fiction and possibly Final Fantasy 15
man.
land.
He's gonna make everything canon in some way. Like, I deadass think that he's gonna retroactively say that when Sephiroth and Cloud left at the end of KH2, this is where they went.
Well, what happens is Cloud goes somewhere and then Sephiroth chases him.
Yeah, Nomura is too powerful, and I expect that we will get the reveal of the next big Kingdom Hearts soon, because this DLC is also like the start of Kingdom Hearts. What is it? 20th anniversary. This is like the first thing of the anniversary for the series.
It can't be 20th anniversary, right? Kingdom Hearts is not that old. The Kingdom Hearts 1 is 2003 game. It's got to be. I refuse to believe that Kingdom Hearts is 20 years old.
I believe Japanese release was 2002.
Kingdom Hearts. Oh, it might be. Yeah, that might be right.
Kingdom Hearts is a 2002 action role-playing video game developed by Square for the
March
PlayStation
28th, 2002. We are that old.
It was 2002. So
we are just rotting away. Just rotting.
Yeah, like
so
same day as that reveal, Square Enix started putting out all of their Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary announcements, which was included stuff like that fucking chess set from Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Which doesn't come with any rules because it does not actually work to play chess.
They didn't make up a game for it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, after all, during that game, Ericus literally had to time travel some of his pieces into the future to win, so I don't think he can really make rules around that.
I mean, that's him cheating, but there could have been a chess variant kind of game. I mean, there's one in Game of Thrones where they have elephants and stuff, but it is, like, recognizably chess, and I think there's real versions of it you can play. You can play the 3D chess from Star Trek. Somebody will make something up. Somebody get on this. There's talented game designers out there. Make Nomura's vision a reality.
Someone will eventually make something up.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts, all like everything is included collection that's coming out to Switch too, and I remember it's
but it's
cloud only.
Yeah, it's a cloud-based version of it. So I think that you do buy it up front. It's not like you have to subscribe to it. It's just that once you buy it, you can only play it when you've got an internet connection.
Yeah, that's how cloud games work on the Switch. They're one and done purchases, but you need to be online to play them. And I guess it does make sense for 0.2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 because there's no way the Switch can run those correctly. But the rest of these games were on an engine that was barely updated since the PS2.
Yep.
Right.
They can run on Switch just fine. And also, the entire thing is on the cloud, so you've got Days and Coded and Back Cover. These are movies that are apparently on the cloud.
Yeah, they don't have the full versions of those games, so you have to watch just a movie of them.
It suggests to me that there must have been some kind of difficulty with porting these, and it must have just, I don't know, either that or they just wanted to say like, look, we need to put KH3 on the cloud. That's the only way it's going to be able to run on this console. So why don't we just say all of them are on the cloud? That's the only thing I could imagine as a reason why they would have done it that way.
I think it's just the Switch sucks. It's just ancient at this point.
It's still just kind of weird. Even weirder than calling it Integra Masterpiece for Cloud. That is the name of this all-in-one version.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird choice, but I'm glad that people who own a Switch can play Kingdom Hearts. You know, it's good for them.
Gotcha.
Yep. I think we could end there,
That's
right?
Sora's response.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We didn't really have
I
like a
think that's
topic or
everything.
anything this month. Just all right, we'll
And
just hang out.
that's okay considering how long we went without delving into a topic anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We could just ramble incoherently. All right, so what do we do at the end again? I forgot. Oh yeah, so we were the Final Fantasy Wiki. My name's BlueHighwind. Thanks for joining us. At some point, I'll find the bit I need. Ooh, what the hell? Here we go. All right, so our wiki music, our podcast music is La Montana de los Caballos Jovenes, which is based on Mount Koltz from the OC remix of Balance and Ruin. You can find Final Fantasy Wiki at a website. It's called FinalFantasyWiki.com. What's the website again? FinalFantasy.fandom.com. That's it.
See, this is why I put the URL in the picture that we use for the YouTube versions.
Because nobody can remember the URL.
You do realize that FinalFantasyWiki.com is a different website that isn't us.
Oh no, is it like a porn website or something?
No, it's not. It's not that bad.
It's some gross
it's
NFT
not.
one.
It's just a competitor to us. You just advertised a freaking competitor.
It's fine. It's fine. You
Fuck,
know?
man.
We're fine. We said it correctly at the start. It's fine. Nobody's listening to this.
All right, so we're going to end on a, let's say, Final Fantasy quote. I found one here. It's from Sephiroth. Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together. You know what? I hope the best for them. One day, those two wacky kids will figure it out.